gosh, you guys, look at this broccoli. I think I have to pull it up. We have had a very, very wet few days, and then the sun came out, and this broccoli just, I mean, went straight to these little flowers. And I'm feeling like, shoot, I missed the opportune picking. This one isn't so bad, but this one is just starting to look all sorts of funky. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do it and pull these broccoli right up. Actually, no, I am going to actually look up online. Do I rip it out? Do I cut it? That's what I'm actually gonna do, okay? So we'll see what the correct way to harvest this is. All right, you guys, I went ahead and looked up how and when to harvest broccoli, and I do believe I am a tad bit late on this broccoli here. One of them is still kind of okay, but this one over on the right side, this one here, is going to flower. You want to harvest them when the greens are still nice and tight on the top. They haven't started to like sprout and grow little flowers. And you don't want to pull up the whole plant. You actually just cut off the top, main head, and then little side broccolis will continue to sprout out of the side, like side shoots. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and I'll let you guys watch. So this is my broccoli head here, and I am just going to, let's see, looks like I'm gonna cut it right here. And I'm gonna leave this part here. I already see another broccoli shoot. And here's this one. Let's see. There it is. A little late getting to it, but I think I'm still gonna eat it, so still good. I'm actually gonna harvest the other one too, so let's do that. You can see we did have some insect damage, but for the most part, these guys did great. Let's get this out. There we go. All right, there is my other broccoli. And that's my broccoli bouquet. Looks like we got our first little carrot popping up right there. I think that one actually was one that I had accidentally pulled up. Ooh, there's a bee. Accidentally pulled up and then just stuck it back in the ground. Probably not deep enough, and so now it's like that. Because I don't see any other carrots like that yet. So we'll see how it goes. I see one tiny watermelon sprout right there, and that's it. Out of this one and that one. That's the only one I see. I hate to tell you guys this, but I think the majority of our strawberries have been eaten by squirrels, birds. We had some netting to put on top of this year, but we actually used it for our chicks, for the little temporary yard that we made for them. And I'm sure you guys saw that at some point. And so we never put it over the top of this strawberry patch, and we sure paid for it because the good strawberries are missing. So it's Thursday morning. I'm coming out here to the garden, and man, there's a lot of green. It's a lot of green. But when I look at it, a lot of it is weeds. And it makes me so sad that there's so many weeds. It smells good out here. I think those herbs are just, oh my goodness, amazing. And the honeysuckle over there just adds so much. I do love coming out here in the mornings though. It's usually a little bit quieter. We live next to a really busy road and we're right on the road. People drive so fast, all hours of the night, all throughout the day. It's crazy. But if I find, you know, a quiet stretch, the birds are really nice. You can hear the breeze blowing. It's a sweet spot in the mornings. And this little bench here, I actually found at a garage sale, a farmhouse sale, last year, 2 years ago, I don't remember. It was $5 and I just couldn't believe it was $5. So I had been wanting more outdoor seating and voila, found it. You guys, look at how much new growth is on this jasmine plant. I'm blown away. Look at that, just 1 week after, look at this. 1 week after trimming this up, we've got all this new growth. I'm amazed. It's gonna come back, be so alive. I wanted to show you my front porch lilies. Look at these. I don't know if you can tell. They're pretty tall. There we go, now you can see. These really come up to my shoulders. I put them in there like the first year we were here, and they have just come up every year. And they always kind of surprise me. Like one day I just look and there's like, oh, that's like 2 feet tall already. So those are some of my favorite. So this bed right here is getting a little out of hand. We got these beets. Let's see, those beets down there. And I have a feeling that they were not planted deep enough because there's just a lot sticking out. And then you can see the weeds. The lettuce is doing great though. Those tomatoes are getting heavy. And the kale and lettuce is just out of control. I need to cut all these flowers back. It started bolting and I didn't do it. I just didn't do it. And this one too, this loose leaf lettuce started to bolt just this week. That's a new stalk right there. So this kale is huge. Lots of little tomato buds coming. Those look exciting. Although Mark thinks we need to prune them back and spread them out. I've been letting the garlic sit up here and cure. It all died back, and so I pulled it up and just been letting it kind of cure in the sun. And it should be ready soon, I think. I'll have to feel them. You see that little sprout?
It looks like it was eaten.
It got eaten, yeah. It was a little tiny sprout and it got chomped off. I showed it on one of the clips earlier this week. Now
My
look
goodness.
at it.
That was the start of a watermelon.
Just got
You know, this is
right
our
off.
second try to a watermelon, and it's almost like it's just not in the cards.
I think we're gonna have to cover them.
Getting sprouts, but they're getting eaten off. These are just weed seeds.
I bet they sprouted.
Oh, there you go. There's one right there.
Did it get eaten?
Yep.
Oh, yep. Sure did.
There's
Wow.
probably one in here somewhere.
I can't believe that. Well, I can, but I bet it's the squirrels. Just chomp it right off. That's so rude. I wanted those
rude.
watermelon.
I know. So the other night I spent just a little bit of time weeding in here. I just didn't pick up the weed carcasses. But yeah, our corn's doing pretty good. For some reason, that corner is doing a whole lot better than the right-hand corner. So I'm not sure what's going on over there as opposed to here. But that one's, I mean, shoot, that's probably a good 2 foot, 30 inches. And here, you know, maybe 18 inches. So whatever.
Check out these squash though. We are starting to get some little buds in there finally. And I am excited about these. Oh, let's see. There they are. So I know this side over here is the big pumpkins. And in the middle here is the blue pumpkins. The little blue pumpkins. And then over here, honestly, I forgot what kind of squash this is on this side.
There's blue squash.
Blue? That's the middle one? Yeah, these are like the eating squash. So, anyway, I'm excited about those.
Oh, you got it.
Did I get it?
I was gonna try to rescue you, but
oh dear.
you got it.
Okay, I got something in my shoe though.
You wanna look at your shoe?
I got it.
Okay,
Oh,
letting go.
Oh, okay. We don't know what we're doing still.
No.
So.
In the garden, there wasn't a whole lot going on, but in our orchard, we did have the cherry trees full of ripe cherries, so we harvested a bunch of those. Didn't have the best harvest that we had previously. A lot of bug issues.
Let's walk over there. Show them.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of bug issues, which is frustrating because I had sprayed the trees this year with neem oil and I was anticipating just great things. And so I think maybe in the future we need to do multiple sprayings of that to kind of curb all of the bug issues, but it is what it is at this point.
There was a lot of good ones, but it was like every other batch was just rotten. So here.
You can see that. Might be hard to tell, but they're even molding.
It was just super disappointing because we thought that we did the right thing with using the neem oil and just, you know, keeping an eye on them. Obviously we showed you the aphids last week, 2 weeks ago or something. And we kind of had ripped a lot of those out, but still.
Something else is all the lower limbs are like this, all eaten up and stuff. That's deer. So all of our lower limbs around the whole perimeter of the tree are just like this. They've been pruned from the deer, which is fine. I know that we've got deer around here, so I don't prune my trees so low. That way we kind of have this middle zone of fruit for us. The deer eat the lower parts, the birds tend to get the upper stuff, and we'll take the middle stuff. So I know that that's going to happen. With all of the bug issues from our cherry trees, I did end up spraying our apple trees, and you know, there's still juvenile, that'll come on later. So trying to maybe take what we had learned from our cherries and apply it to our apples. And I had made our own concoction of insecticide using a like pure soap. Pure dish soap, that is, that I had seen online. A lot of people were using like dial soap and a really like heavy duty detergent for dishes to spray and kill the soft-bodied insects like aphids and flies and, you know, all those types of things. And the problem that they were having is that soap was so powerful that it was actually like withering the leaves, that it was killing the plant. And so I got a I don't even know what you'd call it, but you know, they said ivory soap, I think. Pure ivory soap was good. And I didn't find ivory soap, but I found another pure soap that had no ingredients, that it wasn't as strong of a detergent, but it was still a dish soap. And I sprayed our apple trees at 2 ounces per gallon with one of those sprayers that you hook to the garden hose. So I had sprayed those. I may end up having to do that again. One little bottle, I don't know how many ounces was in that bottle, sprayed 1, 2, 3 apple trees, and then I ended up spraying our strawberries with it too. So this tree back here, that's kind of like our wild child. I didn't prune that one. You can see all of those, they're called water sprouts. They're still up there, and the bottom is not pruned up. And I didn't spray it because my garden hose wouldn't reach that far. So I sprayed the apple tree that's behind us, right here.
This one.
And then over here, on the other side of you.
And
I sprayed
that one.
That one.
That's a dwarf.
Yeah.
Or like,
well,
that's like the little one. Out of all of these, that's the little guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I sprayed another one on the other side of the garden.
I don't think we've mentioned this in any of our videos, but we actually have, is it 12? 10? 12?
Well, 12 on the other side and then this one.
Yeah, we have 12 other cherry trees on the other side of the property that are different varieties. Gosh, lots of different kinds over there. And they're not, obviously not as mature as these, or this one right here. But they're getting there. And this year they had plenty of fruit on them, but we just didn't have the money to put into spraying them. We couldn't reach them with the garden hose. So, oops, I got something in my shoe again. There we go. Anyway, those, we picked what we could off of them, and the rest of them are just gonna fall and rot because they didn't get sprayed, and the bugs got them.
Just gotta read between the lines.
He's just having himself a little snacksy there.
Yeah, I mean, even with all of the bug issues that we've had, we still had a decent amount.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gave a big old bag to my dad
enough
yesterday.
to satisfy, just personal little snackings like this and give some away. And
Yeah.
I mean, a small little handful there. So even though with our issues, it's not a loss.
Yep.
So the main thing that's been consuming my time is rebuilding the chicken coop. This is our old one. It's actually an old dog kennel, and it was here when we bought the property. It was this property, I don't think you know that, but it's my grandfather's, and we had bought it from him, the family. And so this was built by my grandfather, and it was used as a dog kennel. And it's just getting really rotten. I'll show you some of the boards. Hold on, there we go. So you can see here, this is one of the corner posts, and it's not even attached to the ground anymore. That it's been wired to another post just to kind of support it. So just a whole lot of band-aiding going on. So it's time, wood doesn't last forever. The lid on this thing's getting pretty rotten. So, this is the new chicken coop. And it is pretty tall, but I built it all on the ground like this, and it's gonna be buried probably to somewheres in here. I think it's gonna be like 30 or 36 inches from this opening to the ground level. So that'll be kind of nice. It's going to be a 2-story, so they'll have room under the coop to just hang out and be out of the weather and in the shade and cool themselves. And then the coop will be where they sleep, and then this little part here is where we'll check for eggs, right there. So anyway, this has just been the project that's taken priority. I will tear this one down with the kids' help and get this one set tomorrow, which is actually Saturday, which is the day that you're seeing this. So, I don't know, figure that one out.
There's a little lag time.
Yeah, there's some lag time. So
let's walk back to the
there's
garden.
Anna.
I was helping a little boy with a bloody nose. Back to the garden. I shared with you that birds and squirrels have eaten our strawberries, and I'm not very happy about it. I wanted those strawberries, and there's still some up there in like the front yard, but that patch right there, they just got them. I'm really sad about it. But look at this. This bunny was actually given to me by a lady that knows my dad, and obviously it's a little broken, a little chipped up, and it was free, but I thought it was still cute, and I just threw some wildflowers in there, and look at how cute that is now. Those little white ones, and that red clover. Gosh, so pretty. So I've enjoyed that little guy.
This is our nice little kitty. I'm not typically a cat person, but the cat wins you over just by its good nature. Hey, so one little tip that we'll give you right now is regarding our weed situation. Is you can see it's intense. It is a weed problem, and a lot of that stems from being new to all of this.
Beginner mistakes, right?
Yeah,
Beginner mistakes.
yeah. So come walk with me.
Yes.
Let's walk and talk. So the weed situation is actually related to our compost / manure, and something I had learned just with doing more research and digging into things like this. It comes from having not green manure, that's something else, fresh manure that hasn't been seasoned or composted, that all the weed seed, or grass seed rather, in our case it would be horses have been eating. Those seeds are still alive, so once you place them on the dirt, it's going to grow, it's going to sprout. Whatever seed is in the food of that horse is what you're going to get. And so we have put black plastic. The pile looks a whole lot smaller than what it is, but black plastic, and weight it down just so the rain and wind doesn't carry it away on top of all of this. And I actually metered it last week, or
Oh, it was earlier this week.
something like that. And
Here, why don't you show us? Lift that up and show us underneath. That looks
I'll
like
do
a
that.
treat.
hey, in
Oh,
fact,
you had pulse.
I'll get the thermometer right now. We'll just do a little testing.
There you go.
I don't even know where I left off. I was interrupted so many times. So hopefully you can splice
I
this
will.
in.
Yep, I'll cut it all.
Anyway, so I put black plastic on top of our compost pile that has all the horse manure and some other things, grass clippings and some watermelon rind. And I thought maybe we could check the temperature of it together. As you can see right now, it is 79 degrees. So it's a nice, comfortable day. So I'm curious to see how hot the compost pile got. And the reason that this is important is bringing the compost pile up to temperature is actually killing all of those weed seeds that were demonizing our piles of goodness over there. They were...
Well, that's a way to put it.
Oh. So bringing the compost pile up to temperature is killing all the weed seed that was causing all of our problems in our garden. So let's just see what we got here. So hopefully I don't send you on too big of a ride. You can't read that, but that's 106, 100, oh, it's climbing 110. My target is 150 degrees, and I think I can achieve that with warm temperatures, moving the pile out from the trees, and just stirring this. I'll get the tractor and move it around, and keeping this plastic on. I want it to be at 150 degrees for probably a good week, and that should be plenty of time to kill all the weed seed. Something else, while this thing is still climbing, it's at 120 right now. Something else, since we're on this topic, manure. So horse manure, as it was, is not the best manure to use for composting, just because horses apparently have very efficient digestive systems. And so when they're eating all of the nutrients that's in hay or whatever the place is feeding them, they're using most of the nutrients that's in their food. So what's in their manure, it takes a lot of manure to make any impact. So they say, not being an expert myself, but they say chicken manure is actually the most efficient and effective manure to use in a garden, just because their digestion system is so small, so short, that they don't have time to digest all of that. So using not horse manure, chicken manure would be the best way. Still want to get it up to temperature. I think that would be the best way to prevent weeds. You know, I don't know if you can ever really prevent weeds. Weeds happen. That'd be a good slogan. Weeds happen. But getting up to temperature is a good way to minimize the impact of weeds. Let's see what's that. Oh, so I didn't climb that much. We're at 122 degrees, which isn't bad. I'll take it. It's a whole lot better than what it was. Yeah, 122 degrees at 7 o'clock. That's not too bad. So maybe what I can do is maybe tomorrow I'll take the plastic off and use the tractor with the blade and just push it around, get it kind of stirred around and get it to where it's all mixed together, and then do it again. And then I think doing that a couple more times, we should have some pretty stinking good compost. So, lesson to learn, don't use horse manure and get it up to temperature.
I was just thinking, it's kind of been an interesting week because we've had some kids at camp, at summer camp. So my days have been kind of off a little bit, or just different, because they can't do overnight camp this year because of the whole COVID thing. So I'm having to take them every morning and pick them up every evening, and it's just been a little bit different. So this coming week, the other two kids will be at same camp, horse camp this week, and it'll still be like that same off schedule. I mean, it's not a bad schedule, it's just different than our typical. So hopefully I'll find some time this week to come take care of more of the weeds, pull out more of the weeds. But yeah, that's our garden update this week. It's
Motorcycle.
Ooh, motorcycles. It's definitely growing very quickly, and kind of, you know, if you don't keep up with it, it's like, all of a sudden it's out of hand. So that's where we're at. That's what we're doing.
Okay, well there you have it. So that's week 7 of our garden vlog. Hopefully this was a good update. There was a lot of good things and not so good things, but it's a good week, right? There's a lot of things going on other than the garden. Anyway, right now it's warm. Plants are loving it. They're growing, like you say. But anyway, I hope this was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Let me know in the links. Maybe I can.
The links, the comments.
Oh yeah, in the commencements.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm Mark.
And I'm Anna.
And thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.